Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh, you got the cigarette looking one.
Tonight on Stumbling Down History Road, we're going to be talking about Godzilla. I'm Jackson.
I'm Shawn.
I'm D like usual.
All right. Before we really get into it, I do want to give, again, that little shout out. 250 subscribers, shirt giveaway. We actually have like a little gift thing from our cousin to Shawn from @Shadowbox Minis on Instagram. Check them out. They're fucking awesome. I'm going to get that thing for him real fast.
Yeah, definitely. I just walked in. It was a complete surprise gift. And it is so dope. Here, I'll do this. Let me put it here.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like...
Unboxing ASMR
Look
channel.
at how sick this is.
They do awesome fucking work.
Put it there. Look at that. Maybe you could zoom in on it in the post. This thing is so sick. I cannot wait to put it. I just got my office set up with all my like toys and stuff.
Oh, that's
This is
awesome.
going to look so good there.
And again, that's @Shadowbox Minis. @GVO Clothing did the shirts. @Mars_Howard did the design for it. Awesome people. Every one of them. Check them out. Shawn.
Hell yeah. You want me to keep this out or you want me to put this back?
That's up to you, man. It's
yeah,
yours.
I'll put it. No, it's. I'm gonna put this back for safekeeping, definitely.
You're precious.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll put it back here so it'll break nothing. Cool. Thank you for that. So fucking cool.
Yeah.
You guys
You're-
are
He's off camera for us.
He's here. You guys
My
know
man.
who he is.
Yeah, he's been on numerous
I love
episodes.
you guys. I love you guys.
But
Much love. Much love.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'll talk to you soon.
have a good one. But yeah, this is Shawn the Butcher. Butcher.
What's going on? How's it going? Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Where are you from?
Right now, West Babylon, New York. Before that, Merrick, Long Island. Before that, Levittown, Long Island. And I grew up in Glen Oaks, Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of meant like what are you known for?
So currently I have a horror movie podcast called In Madness Pod, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm also been working for SiriusXM for the last 16 and a half years.
I'm so sorry for your soul.
It's been a good ride. It really has. Longest job I've ever held. So
Fuck Stern.
Yeah, I mean, Stern.
Bring back One.
He was actually very nice to me. Anytime I ever saw Howard Stern, he always waved to me in the hallway, which was a lot more than a lot of other people did.
I'm not saying he's not a good guy personally. I'm just saying as somebody who grew up with on the ONA side of that.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember that war.
Yeah.
I remember that war.
Yeah, it was big.
The
Yeah.
only thing that ONA feared was their fans at the time.
But he's pretty much doing horror movie podcasts. We just did our horror movie month with October, but this is Godzilla, kind of horror,
Yeah. That's what
Depending
got me
on-
into horror, I guess. Yeah.
depending on which variant, which era we go with.
Mm-hmm.
I think 1954 was that Showa era?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything.
There was the Showa, the Heisei.
4 eras. It's Showa, Heisei, Millennium, and now technically we're in the Reiwa era.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's narrowing it down. Definitely. That's very well put together. Yeah.
The Showa and Heisei is pretty much most long-running shows in Japan.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to how you have, like, say, old Doctor Who versus new Doctor Who. Like, a lot of it, what it comes down to was a lot of shows, like, okay, so the Showa is, like, the era of the Emperor.
Yep.
And Heisei is the next Emperor who came in after him. And then, obviously, the Millennium one, which was...
2000s.
Yeah.
yeah,
Till Godzilla.
Godzilla 2000 through...
Much love.
See you later.
Next time.
I think it started with Final Wars with that one, right?
No, Final Wars is not Millennium. I mean, is not the start. It's Godzilla 2000 is the start of the Millennium.
2000. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think technically Shin Godzilla is the first of the Reiwa.
I mean, that's one of
It's
my
either the
top
first
three.
of the Reiwa or it's the last of the Millennium technically.
Depending on how you look at it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to double check because it's based off like when the Reiwa era started technically versus it.
This is, by the way, we're doing this before Godzilla -1. We have no idea if it's going to be good. We all hope that it's going to be good.
I feel like, I mean, I have a top 3 Godzilla movies, and I feel like once I see that, I'm going to have a top 4 Godzilla movies.
I've been reading the reviews out of Japan, and it's been doing really well.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's got 100% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's not like I follow Rotten Tomatoes scores, but I think that's crazy for a Godzilla movie in 2023 to have 100% like positive rating.
Shin Godzilla was
That's one of my
yes
top
and
3.
no on
loved
reviews,
it.
you know?
I loved it. Yeah. I remember when I first saw Shin Godzilla, I didn't love it when I first saw it, but I definitely remember.
Hold on, 1 sec.
Okay.
Sorry, I just gotta see what the fuck he wants.
He locked himself out. Garrett doesn't want to go home. He wants to stay here all day. Yeah, I didn't love Shin Godzilla when I first saw it. It took me a little while to realize that it is one of the greatest Godzilla movies ever made.
It's
very political.
Yeah.
It's very political.
Well-
It takes us back almost basically to the 1954 Gojira, which
Well-
was very political in and of itself as well.
It's okay. So the original Gojira was meant to be an allegory for the atomic bombs.
Yep.
Very, very overt and very not overt. I mean, they call him a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
And then the Shin Godzilla was meant to be a parallel to the Fukushima tsunami and meltdown.
Yep.
Yeah, and was it Godzilla Rise for 3 Mile, I believe? Because Godzilla Rise in '84, I want to say that one.
They never really used.
Well, they started getting dark again with it.
So the 3 favorites I have are, it's actually, I mean, I would get called a poser because not 1954, which is the original,
Gojira.
the English made one,
Godzilla King of Monsters, 1956.
with Raymond Burr.
Yeah.
That one is my favorite. Then in 1984, they did another Godzilla, Return of Godzilla movie.
Yep. That might have been 3 Mile.
Again, in '85, they made an English version, which was the exact same version as '84, but again, they brought back Raymond Burr.
Yep.
That is my second favorite Godzilla movie, and then Shin Godzilla, and then probably this new -1. But that one from '85 is just in my brain, burned in there. Is I would always see the box at the the rental store. So I just remember seeing that box, and I would rent that tape over and over and over again, and that's why it's been with me for my entire life.
So we did not too long ago a King Kong episode, Callback.
Cool.
And that is probably, in terms of my opinion, I know this is, a little argumentative.
Yeah.
Still the best monster movie, I think. The original 1933 King Kong. It just started so much, what it had with the timeline in order to do all the practical and special effects, and it more or less was one of the reasons why we have any type of kaiju or monster films at all. I mean, there wasn't really anything big, and King Kong kind of took off in Japan for insert reasons.
Yeah.
And then, obviously the war happened.
I think this Beast from 20,000 Leagues was probably the next big.
That would be the next one for
Big
the
influence
design. For the
Godzilla.
design. They actually mentioned that, Toho,
Cool.
as part of that.
That's
and Honda himself, the director, Ishiro Honda,
Yep.
he was actually drafted into World War II 4 separate times.
Oh my God! Imagine.
So he was very personal with this whole anti-war, pro-war, weapon of mass destruction, all this stuff. You probably couldn't have gotten a better guy for a director in terms of just what it was for Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
Culturally, yeah.
And it didn't even really take off that much in Japan until they started seeing like rise in America and rise in everywhere else, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah, it the thing about a lot of like cultural touchstone movies like that do tend to kind of start off kind of a little bit smaller before like gaining up a bit more of a cult following and starting to get that like, I mean, look at like Rocky Horror Picture Show. That thing was like unknown for a while, then all of a sudden just blew up and everything once it hit like the midnight circuit and stuff. Or I mean, fuck, what
things need time to catch fire, you know, and then
Yeah.
once it hits, it just explodes, which is
Especially when it comes to movies.
Yeah, and I love this resurgence of Godzilla because when I've been a fan my whole life, so I've been looking for
Right,
shit
same.
my whole life, and there wasn't much to find, and now over the last 10 years maybe it has just exploded to now there's a weekly Godzilla drop on websites now all the time. They just threw Kaiju Brooklyn in Brooklyn, which was like a room this big that had all these vendors selling all this Godzilla. I was like,
That's
this is
nifty. I wish I'd known about that. I would have went.
oh my god, they're doing it next year. Follow Kaiju Brooklyn on the socials. Make this your note to do that when you listen back. But
Not sponsored,
Shout out,
but
not
reference.
sponsored, but shout out. Cool
yeah,
guys.
they're just homies now. They were at Comic-Con. I ran into them at Comic-Con. I did an interview with them. We have a Comic-Con episode for our In Madness podcast. New episode drops every Monday. I'll stop plugging my shit now.
That's fine.
No, that's cool, man. Just say not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. Oh, is that what the deal? Is that how I gotta say like allegedly when I say something on air?
Oh,
Yeah, no, not sponsored. Not
Yeah, okay.
it's just something we do.
Yeah,
Running joke.
It's,
Like
it's
the,
the show joke. It's the show bit. Yeah.
Like the reference or the reference to the reference counter.
Reference.
Ding.
But
We haven't used the sensor bar in a while. Now that I remember.
yeah, that's true.
That's so cool. I need that. Like I need I need a little button thing. That's great. That's so cool.
So, you said that 1956 Godzilla,
Yep.
1985
Yep.
the re-release,
Shin.
and then Shin,
Yeah.
which
and
was
now-
2016, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because there was
yeah, I
the
think
legendary
it was 16.
2014.
It was 2016. Yeah.
Yeah,
2014, I think it was the American made one, and
that was legendaries.
that was with
Brian
Cranston.
Cranston.
yeah, Cranston. So Cranston
in 30
killed
minutes.
It, yes, which is like Psycho, kind of, because like you get this iconic character.
He
and
was
you're like,
big.
oh,
He
yeah?
was big.
Uh-huh.
Freaking
Huge
bad.
in the marketing too. He was all over the marketing.
Yeah.
All those things.
Which is the
And
move.
Don't
Which
get me,
is the move.
Don't get me wrong. The guy, I don't mind
His
the
kid?
Yeah, I don't mind the guy who played his kid. He just he was a little wooden in it, but
Yeah.
Also,
Not the same.
What the fuck was up with him just so happening to be everywhere where shit was happening by coincidence? Like, what was that?
Oh, it's a cop out. It's always a cop out.
Yeah, I didn't dig too much of that. Like the Godzilla was pretty sick, and the fight scenes were pretty sick. But I was
all
like,
two we got.
yeah, and it was too dark.
The
So
kiss of death moment was probably
legendary again. So like, as long as there's an iconic moment somewhere in there, but those iconic moments are what makes the movie so good. I mean, there's one in '54, there's one in '85. The Shin Godzilla.
There's a lot. There's a lot
Yes.
of awesome Godzilla movies. Everybody
Yes.
has one.
Uh-huh.
Everybody has a favorite villain. Everybody has a favorite ally.
I have a couple of favorite villains. Yeah.
Speaking of favorite villains,
Okay.
I do want to give a quick shout out to the two most popular favorite villains, most likely Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah.
Goddamn right.
King Ghidorah is probably the most prolific villain
I have
from
him tattooed on my leg. Yeah.
from Godzilla, and Godzilla brought so much that MF Doom, which you talked about on the Oven podcast, shout out, cool guys, the Oven podcast,
Not
check them
That's
out.
where I remember seeing you from too.
Yeah, not sponsored, just cool guys. He had an entire alter persona about Godzilla called King Ghidorah, and him and a couple other guys got together for Monster Island, and they all had different Godzilla personas.
Monster Island Czars, I think they were called. Yeah.
That was the album.
Okay, yeah, that was the album.
That was
yeah.
the album, but they were just Monster Island.
Okay,
And
even better.
I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
I kind of prefer. I liked him as Ghidorah.
yeah.
From the Heisei era, the one appearance he had there, where he was the three Dorats that got fused by
Follow the lights.
The light is your guide. Yeah.
Take me to your leader.
It was they were the time.
I am the
it was
king of Planet X.
No, because in the Heisei one, they were time travelers from the future trying to destroy Japan because Japan had become the some sort of crazy superpower in the future, some shit.
Gundam was right.
Yeah.
But so they teleport Godzilla to the middle, the dinosaur that becomes Godzilla to the middle of the ocean. They put the Dorats on. The Dorats get mutated by the atomic blast into King Ghidorah. And then Godzilla becomes an even stronger Godzilla by accident by eating a fucking nuclear submarine, basically.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
And then he beats King Ghidorah, and then they
And this was Showa period one,
This
right?
is Heisei. This
This
is
is
Heisei.
Heisei.
one.
Okay.
And then he takes out the one middle King Ghidorah's head, destroys one of his wings, and then they rebuild him, and he comes back in the same movie as Mecha King
Mecha
Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah.
But what about
that,
Steve?
Yeah.
And it probably has. What about Steve? It also has a great moment where one of the guys from the past, who was a soldier who interacted with Godzilla during the war or whatever it was, he's like standing there staring at Godzilla, like, "Oh, Godzilla's my friend. He remembers me from the war." And then Godzilla just fucking atomic breaths his ass.
Yep. Smokes him. Smokes him. I love those moments.
It's like, yes, we have a connection, Godzilla and me.
Nah. Nobody has a connection with Godzilla.
Do you guys know where the opening for the 1954, 1956 actually like gets inspired from? With the fisherman boat?
Oh, the Lucky Dragon number 5 incident where
Lucky Dragon number 5.
Okay.
We accidentally-
With Bikini Ayatollah.
Yes.
With the testing of the H-bomb.
Yeah.
So what happened was
Oh, the one. Yeah.
There was the the fisher boat, Lucky
Dragon
Dragon number 5.
Okay.
And
we accidentally did not evacuate from the area.
it was a fishing boat. They didn't realize.
And
And they got covered in radioactive soot by this. And so the first death of the hydrogen bomb was a Japanese fisherman. And obviously the only country that has been attacked by atomic bombs was Japan. But that whole opening scene was inspired by Bikini Ayatollah.
That's wild.
Which it happened in 1954.
Yeah.
So they were like on their shit. For
Yep.
that.
Finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's
So it's
wild.
a little fun fact for you.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. And for anybody who's listening who's curious, that
I
is
don't know
great
how
to know.
people dying is a fun fact, but all
I
right.
mean, it's a fact. Regardless, it's a fact.
I think that it's, fun facts can be dark sometimes, but just like something that is just so
I know, I'm just
random and
teasing.
so, like the fact that the dude who played Godzilla in the Showa, he was only able to stay in there for like 3 minutes at a clip.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
was
It's
just
like
so
a 400-pound suit or something.
It was
It was
Yeah.
220
Extremely hot.
pounds. 220 pounds with not LED lights like we have these days, but the
Heat lamps, yeah.
The heat lamps, the incandescent bulbs that are basically just heat lamps.
Brutal.
And it was full latex, 220 pounds, and he was
Nah.
doing it at clips, and he
I think they
withstood.
said they had like sweat collectors at the bottom, and each one would be like a half cup full at the end of the day
That's
or
so
some shit.
gross.
He lost over 20 pounds in filming.
Yeah, I bet.
And the
That's
guy-
so sick.
The guy was never show his face for any of the Godzilla stuff. Obviously he's Godzilla,
Yeah.
but he went through it for as long as he could. He maintained it for like 15 movies, 20
Yeah,
movies.
he did it. He
Yeah,
did it
that
a
guy
while.
was,
And-
yeah, he won't go.
He was enduring things like bombs under his groin, where like he got injured.
Oh, I bet
And-
with those things with the pyro going off. I'm
Yeah,
sure
he
that's
was
not
lit on
measured
fire a
by
couple
a.
times.
Yeah.
His face was burnt up at times. Like,
Jeez.
and
That's
he
what
just
you do for Godzilla.
he was so adamant about not losing that role.
Yeah.
That he just never complained about it.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's
This
mean,
just goes to show
work
that
ethic.
kids today.
Work ethic. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's also kind of a cultural thing because
Oh, Japan is nuts with that.
they don't like to be confrontational
Just work.
I
Just
mean-
work. Just do it. But I mean,
unless
be
they
Godzilla.
get
Good work.
confrontational and then shit happens.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
we got his top 3. What are your top 3, if you can? I understand it's a little hard.
I think the original 1954.
Actual Gojira. Okay.
Yep.
I think that has to be on anybody's top 3.
The Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the Heisei one I already talked about.
Okay. With the Dorats.
Maybe Desutroya or
I like me some Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Destroy All Monsters was pretty good too. Maybe.
With everybody.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
that,
all the kaiju, even not Godzilla's.
Yeah.
although if you've seen most of the Heisei era, a bit of the footage is reused here or there, obviously. But yeah.
And he kind of turns into a little bit of a superhero.
yeah.
No, you might be thinking of
Towards the end of Showa?
Well, that's a Showa thing in general towards the end of Showa, but I think you might be thinking the thing where he slides on his tail, or
Which was Megalon.
That was a good Megalon. That
Yeah.
was with Jet Jaguar. Great movie.
Jet Jaguar.
And Gigan, one of my favorite.
or the even crazier moment in Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, Hedorah.
Hedorah.
Oh yeah,
where
they
he-
got fish heads.
Yeah, he rips the bong off the
Yeah.
thing. I was like, that is so sick.
And also about when he uses his atomic breath to fly by curling up.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another fun one.
Yeah, Hedorah's a great one.
And he goes on like a full-on acid trip. He sees people dancing with fish heads.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I remember that. It
Yeah.
was a weird move. The Heisei is a weird era.
It's a weird era.
I mean,
it's mostly him.
Showa, sorry.
Heisei is mostly him versus like pollution and a little bit more
There's always
environmental
statements.
stuff.
Yes, there's lots of statements made, and like, they're deeper than they seem. You know.
I mean, Millennium.
Honda, by the way, hated like the super
Yeah.
heroes. He hated that because obviously Godzilla was meant to represent something so dark.
Oh yeah,
So
a dark time in history, and yeah.
I mean, if
They
you
made
look
him a
at
good guy and friends with everybody. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Millennium when they kind of bring it back, Godzilla. The original was Godzilla, but then he's killed and reborn by, and I'm not joking here, the spirits of everybody that Japan wronged during World War II.
Yeah.
He's a giant spirit ghost bomb dragon thing. Yeah, like literally all this, like all the dead people that Japan fucked in World War II made a Godzilla to destroy.
That's wild.
And then King Ghidorah, in response, and I'm not joking, is actually a guardian deity of Japan in this version.
Okay.
He's not from space. He's actually from Japan, and he's like a guardian dragon spirit in the Millennium era. Yeah.
Jesus.
All
All right, so you're three. That's yours.
Yeah, more or less.
I'm gonna go with obviously Gojira, Godzilla, whichever release you want to go with.
Yeah.
Desutroya, because it's just
Yep.
so
Iconic. That's an iconic one.
it's iconic. It's dark,
Meltdown Godzilla, yeah.
and it just it's sad. Like
It made international headlines, like the death of Godzilla. Like that was the
This
last Godzilla. That was the death Godzilla.
and then we got Zilla. But this was like Death of Superman era. This was death of all the big comic book guys.
Yeah,
It's just
I have those Death of Superman comics. Yeah.
it ties in so well, and
The
he
cape on the
loses Godzilla Jr.
Yeah.
No, Godzilla Jr. actually.
Was it Minilla? Did I get it wrong?
No, it's Godzilla Jr. in the Heisei era. Minilla or Minala or Miniland, depending on who the hell you're talking to, is the Showa era. He doesn't have an offspring to my knowledge. In
yeah,
the movie.
Godzilla Jr., which was Heisei.
He comes
Destroyer.
back to life because the fallout from Godzilla melting down.
Yes, but he still dies in front of Godzilla
Yes.
to Desutroya.
Yeah.
Like, right in front of him. He's like, I got this, Dad.
Death Destroyer.
Done.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, bitch, final form, let's go. Which is a really cool design, except for the weird stomach. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I think that was supposed to be a like a beam cannon.
Yeah.
At some point.
and I think I got to go with Shin Godzilla as well.
Shin's so good. It's so good.
It's the guy from Evangelion.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be appreciative of that.
It's so.
It's
Waiting
unique.
for Shin Super Sentai. Sorry.
It's very unique. You're cool with
Yeah.
smoke people in your face?
That was kind of more apologizing to you.
Whatever.
You're used to it. now.
It's so well done, Shin Godzilla, and I think they're going to do the same thing with -1. They know what we want to see, and I think they're going to give that to us.
The when the spikes start
Yeah,
jetting out.
I
was
saw
like,
that in
"Oh,
the
that's
trailer. I was
cool."
like, that's fucking gnarly, man. Very cool.
What's your guys' opinion on the different TV shows that Godzilla has had, and or the Netflix movies that have been done?
I mean, to a certain point, there was only the 2 animated series, the Hanna-Barbera one,
Yeah.
and the one based off the 1998 film.
Zilla.
There's a
Well, there's also Singular Point, Godzilla Singular Point.
yeah, that was more recent.
It
There's
still
also,
counts.
Yeah.
There's also the 3 trilogy animated movies, but those are movies, not TV shows. I think there's also a Japanese TV series called Monster Island Friends, which uses
Oh Jesus!
the figures of Godzilla
That's cool.
for its and they kind of do like a It's like a sitcom-y type thing.
That's cool. That sounds like fun.
There's also, I think, another one where it's like a tiny version of like a chibi Godzilla. Like,
In case you guys couldn't tell, there's varying levels of like Godzilla fandom here.
Yeah.
He's pretty fucking adamant about his Godzilla.
Yeah.
You're like a pretty big fan.
Yeah.
And then I exist.
I mean, I kind of sit around and will listen to like Wikizilla, not
Yeah.
sponsored from YouTube and shit when I'm at work sometimes because they do. But I mean, there's like the video games. There's a lot of Godzilla, and there's also very little Godzilla. It's kind of weird how it works.
The Netflix ones, I really want to like them, but
Are you talking about the trilogy or
yeah.
the singular point?
I think all of. I can't. How many have they put out on Netflix? Like
It's
6
the
of them or whatever.
It's a trilogy of movies.
Yeah.
Godzilla, the trilogy, the movie trilogy.
Yeah.
Which is it's Godzilla, but they accidentally end up 10,000 years in the future, and
Yeah.
Godzilla is now kind of ruler of the planet.
I remember those. Those were the ones I watched. I didn't love them too much.
And then it's Singular Point, and Singular Point's actually pretty good.
It's kind of unique.
It's
Is that the one with like Jet Jaguar? Like the
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one too. That
Various
was
levels of
honestly,
Jet
I
Jaguar.
really like Godzilla Ultima, the Godzilla Final Four with like the extra little. That I actually that was a really good.
I
design.
liked it better than the trilogy ones.
Yeah, it came out a lot better than the trilogy. It was a little heady because they were touching on like quantum mechanics and shit a bit,
Yeah.
and like some.
That's when I fall out and I'm like, they lose me a little.
But if
bit,
you kind of
definitely.
skip it and just stick to like the kaiju,
Uh-huh.
like the Anguirus,
The good
it was
shit.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
They just fight,
yeah.
and then they
One of
make
my
a spear
favorite.
out of the
One of my
Anguirus
favorite
is,
guys, Anguirus.
They just put
That's
out
because you like Ankylosaurus.
Correct.
Japan YouTube shorts. They just put out one with Gigan. They just put out one with Megalon, and they're doing like little 10-minute fight scenes. It's just
Yeah.
like it's really quick stories. They're on YouTube and they're awesome.
I don't know if they're official or not. I don't think they are. I think they're like fan made.
Probably, but they're awesome.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of, but they get recognition from Toho and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which is like
Who's very
that's the
protected. They're like
Yeah.
ultra protected.
Well, they used to be. Now it seems like everybody's got the Toho,
It's kind of weirdly yes and no.
which is great. I want that.
The problem is in Japan.
America kind of fucked it. Thanks, Sony.
No, well, in Japan, copyrights, they're both very They're both very stringent of their copyright, but also very loose with their copyright, depending on certain things.
Well,
So-
Toho for like Godzilla, for the sound, the look, they're very protective. They have certain
Yes.
rules that people have to follow for it to quantify as this is Godzilla, not just like, oh yeah, it's a big old reptile.
Well, I'm just kind of touching on Japan, and then there's also the American copyright system, which is crazy stringent, which is very different. But yeah, when it comes to Japan and their copyrights, they're stringent about certain things, like extremely like don't fuck with this, don't do this. But when it comes to a lot of other stuff, they're completely like nonchalant and don't give a fuck. I mean, look at the Dojin thing. Like they publish they'll publish fan made works
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Heck, I mean, they even
Again,
invited
it's-
Team 4-Star into their fold to do voices and stuff. So, I mean, again, stringent but also very lean. It's weird. Sorry.
no, you're good. This is good. We're stumbling.
This is good news. This is good. This is
stumble.
like good inside facts here. Yeah.
Yeah, little things that you never thought you would know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what is your favorite Godzilla-inspired thing? Because obviously, you know, we have Godzilla-inspired, Godzilla mimics style things. Like, I don't think we would have Jurassic Park without either King Kong or Godzilla. Steven Spielberg has gone on record saying that those were huge influences for him. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Michael Crichton. Just being able to have Godzilla.
I think it's Crichton, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Cretan.
Dude, don't.
No, I'm not starting that
The
war.
sci-fi fans will murder you.
I am not starting that war.
Oh, I
Hey,
have
we'll
one,
have.
actually. I was just thinking about that. No, that's yeah. No, you got my mind going. I'm like, what is it? What is the coolest Godzilla related thing? I just saw Kaiju Wrestling in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most entertaining fucking things I've ever seen in my life. So, not sponsored. Shout outs to Kaiju Wrestling. Follow them on Instagram. They wrestle in a ring, but they dress up in their own
Different kaiju?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
One dude is a steam-powered boulder with octopus tentacles, and you go figure. During the match, he shuts down, and they have to steam power him back up. A dude came out in a burger outfit, and they have little
They have little
cardboard
things?
buildings
Yes!
in the ring So
that's
they'll
awesome.
rock bottom each other onto a bill. So this
I think I know our next Friday night.
I mean, you guys have to check this out. This dude comes out, he's a bunny, and I'm like, he looks like a really ugly bunny, and he's the champion. So he's holding a belt, and he's a kaiju, so like whatever. And I'm like, why is he a big bunny? And dude starts pounding his chest, and his dust comes out, and I'm like, he's a giant dust bunny. And I'm laughing my ass off. So he gets in the ring, and what happens? Immediately he gets body slammed, and a plume of dust comes out, and you are just laughing.
It's fucking awesome.
It's brilliant. So and I was really thinking about it, but without a doubt, I think that might be my favorite like kaiju inspired thing.
I haven't seen it, but it's now mine.
Yeah, I immediately messaged them like, this was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life, because they have the dudes commentating over the loudspeaker, so it's not just a closed thing. Everybody's hearing it, and they're playing like 80s rock during the matches. So the shit's
As you do.
It's like it's an environment. It's not just like wrestling. Like they're talking and there's music playing and motherfuckers are like burgers coming out and giving people rock bottoms. But it's so good.
amazing.
It's so good. Definitely check it out.
I
All right,
mean,
now that we can't live up to this, what's your favorite?
I was kind of just gonna basically say like the tokusatsu genre as a whole, because Godzilla is kind of like, it wasn't like the big start of the tokusatsu genre, but it was basically what kind of made the tokusatsu genre what it was, which is the guys in rubber suits destroying miniatures in and of itself. Without Godzilla, you wouldn't really see your Ultramans. You wouldn't get your mech fights from Power Range, Zords, whatever, from Power Rangers and stuff. Like, the guys in rubber suits genre as a whole, called tokusatsu, you really wouldn't have it like it is without Godzilla, because Godzilla is technically a tokusatsu. So
Also
sense.
Gwar.
Yeah.
Also Gwar.
yeah,
I was gonna say, for me, it's probably all the music that it's inspired.
Yeah,
We talked about MF Doom, Gwar.
Gwar.
That was something that we were potentially talking about on the
Yeah.
podcast.
the
one of the
Surge
greatest to
version
ever
of
do it.
Godzilla was pretty sick. From was that King of
all
Monsters? or was
all
that...
the different like fucking Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. Literally all the songs that just come from this, and all the art. Incredible art comes from just giant monsters.
Yep.
So I guess it's like
the shirt.
yeah.
Hell yeah. I was contemplating wearing a Godzilla shirt.
So I guess I kind of had like a little twofold there, saying art and music, but I feel like they're hand in hand.
Yeah.
Art, music's kind of art.
Yeah. Of course. Absolutely.
But I think you got us beat.
I mean, and it just, and
with the kaiju wrestling?
I just experienced it like a month ago. So I've been alive this whole time and a fan of this whole time, and just found out about this. So
I feel like I've probably seen it in passing, made a note about it, and said, "Oh, I gotta check this out."
and then I think I did the same thing until someone was finally like, "We're going." My man Scott, shout out to Scott, and we went, and I was like, "Dude, every one they do, I will be there, 100%."
That's
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Just cool
sounds
guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
That does sound really.
Oh, it's
fun.
worth it. It's so worth it. I can't wait. I got a shirt. I bought a
Is this
shirt.
something happens like in the city or something like that?
They do it in Brooklyn, and they just did 2 sold out shows in Boston,
I was
and now
just
they're
in
coming
Manhattan
back to
last
Brooklyn.
night, too.
Yeah. Well, it's like once every couple of months or whatever, I think.
Oh, I thought you said it was every Friday. You lying to us now?
What?
You said it was every Friday night. Now it's
No,
every
no, no.
couple
Nah.
I was fucking with you when I said I know our next Friday night.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not every Friday night. No, that'd be crazy if it was. They
Wrestlers get
that's-
beat up bad.
yeah.
Wrestlers get beat up bad.
Yeah.
If Mickey Rourke taught me anything,
Ha.
I mean, if you, look at the wrestler count that's down, so to say. I mean, you got Macho Man.
Yeah.
well, a lot of it's due to drugs with them.
It's a long past, a long
drugs,
history.
just abusing the shit out of your body.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
rough life to live.
Yeah.
That's a
Shout-
rough life to live. Definitely.
Shout out to Jackson's Macho Man in First Nation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nope, not doing it.
And you do a Macho Man? Is that what's up?
Everybody does a Macho Man.
He just happens to do it really.
Oh yeah, brother! I'm the cream of the crop. I'm gonna rise to the top.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
he can do it pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thanks.
You should have an applause button on your thing.
I had one at some point.
We only
But now
really
I
got
just
one
gotta-
button.
Yeah, go. Yes, yeah.
Favorite ally, favorite villain.
I mean,
Since we got to talk about Godzilla.
stumbling.
Yeah. Even if it's top
Ally?
2, top 3.
You go.
For Ally, I kind of like King Caesar.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody knows King Caesar. Explain him a little bit.
Okay, so he's technically.
He looks like a little weird ferret type thing.
Okay,
I think.
Like a bowl thing.
So what
Yeah.
so his first real incarnation is he's the guardian spirit of Okinawa. And what he's supposed to be is a kind of giant version of specific to Okinawa, a food dog. I can't think of the name exactly off the top of my head. Or she lion, whatever you want to call it. But technically, he's supposed to be the Okinawan version of it. It's actually technically a dog, not like a lion or a dragon or certain other things, depending on who you're talking to. Whatever. We're going on Arcanine. Anyway. And he also, if you, particularly in like the Final Wars, if you've anyway seen Final Wars, like he kind of uses like karate when he's fighting because he's Okinawan, and karate comes from Okinawa and stuff. And just he's only been in 2 actual films. He's kind of been in some other stuff here or there, but yeah, it's not really a big, well-known creature, but
Yeah, he's a little bit more, like I said, a little bit more underrated, not as known.
What about villain?
Villain.
I can't pick one. I have 5. I have to pick.
In no particular
Probably
order.
Gigan.
Yeah.
Gigan?
He's
Yeah,
in my
he's
top
cool.
5.
He's got the
Giant.
laser beam eyes.
Have you
He
seen
looks
him?
like Cyclops. He's got. Go ahead.
No, because in his final worm, he gets an upgrade. His final wars, he gets an upgrade where he has twin chainsaw arms instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like meat claws all over the place.
Yeah.
He's got his little laser.
His
saw in the
his
chest.
stomach
Yeah.
saw. Yeah. Gigan's so fucking.
Do you remember the Godzilla fighting game?
Oh yeah. Wait, which one?
Well,
The one on the GameCube.
I used to have it on Nintendo, like Nintendo.
The GameCube one. I think might be. Well,
Yeah,
there's a few of them.
Yeah, I
We're-
think
we're
I
a
played the
li-
GameCube one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old.
you don't look it.
Thank you. You know, the Nintendo, man, I wish I still had the Nintendo game. And not only that, the box that it came in
It
was
was Destroy
so
All Monsters. It was on
cool.
GameCube, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, Godzilla has awesome art
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Shame the games. I mean, the games are kind of fun, particularly if you're young, but like they're really.
Yeah, they're give or take.
I think
They're
the
give or
last one that came out on the PlayStation 4 just kind of bombed, which was a
Yeah.
shame.
I was always a fan of the Rampage games. Those were
oh
cool.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we wouldn't have Rampage without
Yeah.
Godzilla.
And then on Neo Geo, they used to have this thing. I think it was like King of Monsters or something, where it wasn't Godzilla. It was just like their own monsters, and you
Well,
could fight and destroy a city.
There was a few actual Godzilla games that were released in the U.S., but they were remade, kind of almost like skinned over to be not Godzilla.
Okay.
It happened a few times for the older, like really older consoles. It was weird. That might be
That
one
might
of
have been part of the copyright thing that
Maybe,
we were talking
yeah.
about.
But
Yeah.
that might be the game you talk about. Might have actually originally been a Godzilla game
And then they
in
switched it up,
Japan.
yeah.
But they Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ally Jet Jaguar probably. I think.
Jaguar.
Jet Jaguar. You
Jet-
can't go
Jet-
wrong. It's like one of the best Godzilla allies. And then
You know
like,
that was designed by a kid.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
It was
cool.
designed by a kid.
That's
they,
cool.
they were like,
good for him.
They were looking for Godzilla characters or whatever, like monsters to make, and they're like, oh, a competition. Jet Jaguar won. That's all. You also got Ultraman too.
Yep,
the original Ultraman, I
Ultraman's a
think,
good
was
one,
a
yeah.
kid's drawing. One of the old, was it the original or one of the Ultramans? I think was a kid drawing.
And then for villain, I mean, I have Ghidorah tattooed on my leg, so it's right that I say Ghidorah. But I mean, I got Mecha Godzilla here on my mug. I love Mecha Godzilla. I mean, Megalon. Megalon is such an underrated Godzilla villain.
Which Mecha Godzilla? Because there's 3 different variants.
The Terror of Mecha Godzilla, where it's him and Titanosaurus, who I also love.
Okay, from the original Heisei version. All right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's the Heisei version. There.
didn't they also have a couple different versions of each Mecha Godzilla in each version, each era?
There was a lot of different
So in
ones.
Heisei, there's the first Mecha Godzilla, and then there's the rebuild Mecha Godzilla, which has the head that can come off. The head can get blown
Yep.
off, and it has a little
And it's the
subhead.
red beam with the...
Subhead,
yeah.
There's the human-made version from the Heisei era, and that was him with Rodan, and that was Godzilla versus confusingly called Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, even though it was the first and only time he was in Heisei.
Okay.
I know, right? And then there's the Millennium version, which was Godzilla something, and then Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and that one's actually technically called something else entirely too. That one has the name Kiryu, and that one is built off the bones of the original 1954 Godzilla.
Yeah.
It has an internal skeleton, and that's why it goes berserk sometimes and starts fucking shit up.
That's cool.
The more you know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
so
that.
And he technically Kiryu is in Toho licensing is known as Kiryu, not Mechagodzilla, and he is considered a separate thing from Mecha. Again, weird, because if you know Godzilla, you know the little really know Godzilla. You know they have the little teeny, like the official Toho ones. They have the little teeny Godzilla button kind of things that show you like what monster is, and it's like Godzilla, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and yeah, it's just like a little kind of weird, almost profile thing. If you saw it, you'd recognize it. It's a Godzilla thing. I'm sorry. It's very specific.
We got to get you to Japan just for Godzilla
Yeah,
Fest.
for real. For real.
I mean,
among
there's
other
that,
reasons.
That's
There's
the
that
bucket list.
hotel that has his head just kind of looming over
And a
shit.
hand, one of the rooms has a hand coming in.
He's the official ambassador to Tokyo
So sick.
for America, I think. He has a star on Walk of Fame. He's
Yep.
one of the I think 3 or 4 fictional characters who have a star on the Walk of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's only a couple.
I have a picture of his star on the Walk of Fame.
Weird, fun Walk of Fame fact. Muhammad Ali has a star. However, it's not on the Walk of Fame. It's actually on the build. It's actually implanted to the building next to the theater. I want to say Chen's Theater, whatever it is, the one
Yeah.
that started
Yeah,
it.
yep.
It's implanted in the wall because you can't step on the whole because he has this. You can't step on the name of Muhammad, so it's
Yeah.
not on the.
Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting. That is a fun
It's a
fact.
religious thing.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
That is
He's
cool.
also one of the few actual sport people too to have one because he's done other stuff that isn't sports because you're technically supposed to be an entertainer.
Yeah, I mean, he did enough like speeches and things like that that
Well, he also has
he's
been in movies and stuff
Yeah,
too, I think.
yeah.
lesser known things.
He once fought Superman and won.
Yep.
Not even joking.
Yeah.
That is
In
canon.
a comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
They were put in. The ring was underneath a red sun.
Yep. So this way he was depowered.
Yes.
Because as everybody knows, Superman gets his powers from the sun.
From yellow
He is
sunlight
a-
specifically.
No, he can get it from blue as well, which is actually a
He's
super powered yellow
Yes.
for him. But he is a
Specifically-
plant.
Cool.
The-
Yeah.
Superman is a plant.
Yeah.
But red sun radiation depowers
Photosynthesis.
depower Superman. So they went like a whole like 14, 15 rounds, and Muhammad Ali, I think, technically won by TKO.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh wow! Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Sorry. It came out in the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
This was
yeah.
old.
Yeah. I always love spoiler alerts that are 50 years old. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, somebody
God.
complained about us doing spoilers, and they're like,
Well, to be fair, it was for something that came out like a year ago. That's a little different.
what was it again?
It might
Who
have been
cares?
no, it might have been one of the Gundam ones. Got Gundam Iron Orphan Blood, maybe?
Was it for the IBO or was it for Witch from Mercury?
It might have been that one. I don't know. Check out our Gundam episodes.
Yeah.
You'll find out which one it was.
Yeah,
Dude,
go
I
worry.
went-
Spoiler alerts.
I was at fucking Anime NYC. All of the fucking hentai guys were completely out of the Witch from Mercury dojins. I'm like, you guys got any Witch from Mercury left? No, that's sold out hyper quick. I was like, fuck, I was gonna get some for my wife. Because I know she'd get a kick out of it.
Missed it.
I should have went on Friday. I should have asked on Friday when they were there. I just asked today. I didn't think of it yesterday. But I did get the signing, my Amano authenticated by JSA, so.
Cool.
Hey.
I don't know if you know Yoshitaka Amano.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, do you know Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
He's the guy who did the character design for everything before 7.
That's cool.
And
Pretty
he
much.
does most of the box artwork and stuff, too.
Yeah, if you like that long flowing hair, the very pretty art from
Kind
Japan,
of, kind of androgynous, very
from the
watercolor.
80s, 90s,
Yeah.
2000s, he's pretty much responsible for it.
That's cool.
Yeah, like, but yeah, I met him at a Comic-Con like a decade ago, 12 years ago, whenever the hell it was, and yeah, he signed and sketched on the art books, and so I just had JSA authenticate that.
I did see that you got Godzilla versus Justice League versus Kong.
I did find it, and I found a comic book
That's a
shop
title.
around the
Yeah.
block. Yeah, it's very long. It's very bizarre. They just put it out, and I was like, I got to go find a comic book shop. There's one around the block from my house. I went in, they didn't have any. So I told the guy, I was like, yo, call me if you get it. He never called. So I went back and he's like, oh, I was holding it here for you. So I found the first one and I was like, call me if any more come in. And 2 days ago, my phone goes off. I didn't know who it was. I got a voicemail and it's like, hey, it's Tom.
Got issue 2.
Yeah, I'm a comic book store guy. I got issue 2. I saved it for you. And I was like, oh, my man. So I went right around the block that day. He's like, oh, I didn't think you'd come in so quick. I was like, yo, call me.
It's
you
Godzilla.
Get number 3. Yeah.
I gotta find all the back issues for Godzilla, Year of the Dragon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The one where he's doing the pirates.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. There's like 5 or 6 Godzilla comics currently publishing out right now. I think.
IDW, DC,
Marvel, I think.
I think Marvel lost its licensing because they were big in the 70s and 80s with Godzilla.
Oh, they did a lot of Godzilla shit for Marvel did in the 70s.
Dark Horse had a run with them. Image had a run with them. Pretty much
Again,
name a publisher.
Weird with how the licensing works.
Yeah.
So long as Toho approves of the design, they kind of don't care what you do with the story-wise.
Yeah, I mean...
Which there is only, and I talked about this in King Kong, there's only one original copy of his original Roar.
Yeah, one original audio.
There's one master copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know how they got the Roar, too? Do you know?
For King Kong, no. I know.
No, for Godzilla.
The glove on the
they ran
thing.
Yeah, there was only
rosin
one
glove.
original copy, master copy of that
On the
Roar,
cello.
the Godzilla Roar.
Wow. That's crazy.
So
wow.
in order for you to get licensing of that, it's like a big deal.
Uh-huh.
That's why you never have like Godzilla Roars in America.
Well, there's also kind of different variants of the Roars based off era, and you can distinctly hear that in Shin Godzilla. If you listen closely, the first roar he does is Showa. The second roar he does is Heisei, and he finishes it off with a Showa roar again, but they also use a Millennium roar that he doesn't specifically roar himself, but you hear it during, I think, the credits or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's variants of his roar, but they are these standard, like a high and then a low growl.
I do like that they used, because when he was doing it in Shin, I was like, oh, that's the old one. That's the old roar. Yeah, that's fun.
That's a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
The first one he does when he's on, is the first Showa, and when he rises up into his feet for the second form, that's the Heisei.
Spoiler alerts.
And then when he goes into his third form, I think he goes back to a mixture of Showa and Millennium.
I like when they say he could sprout wings. I was like, that
was how
is a fucking concept that I never considered in a Godzilla movie, and they never showed it, but I like that they alluded to it.
So there's 2 unused sequel concepts.
Okay.
The first one they alluded to in the original ending with the tail, where he starts sprouting the humanoid Godzilla, like the smaller humanoid Godzillas.
That was a great ending.
The second one was he was going to sprout wings and fly to America.
Yeah, and
where he would
crush
start
us.
spreading multiple smaller Godzillas that are almost humanoid, but but similar to his kind of look there too. But they're going to be also large too, just not like the tinier humanoid. It's
Also, favorite kaiju thing, Cloverfield. Shout outs to Cloverfield. That's another one of my favorite
pretty
movies.
good, actually.
Yeah.
That is
for a monster movie, for a dude who was craving a monster movie and was not getting one, that was the exact movie that I wanted when I wanted it.
It's definitely taking more roots to like the horror thing, which is your whole shtick on your podcast.
And the whole found footage bit too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which is pretty
it was
Blair
a mix
Witch.
of Blair Witch and Godzilla, and I was like, oh,
This is
genius.
I don't remember if it was that or the other found footage one, the one with the zombies, Record or whatever it is.
Oh, Wreck.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and they remade it into Quarantine.
Yeah, the Quarantine. I saw the Quarantine. No, I think it was the Quarantine one.
Quarantine was good.
I think I saw in theaters with like a girl trying to, as like a pseudo date or some shit.
Yeah.
One time, like, and then I don't remember who I saw Cloverfield with.
Yeah, Cloverfield was great.
Cloverfield was nifty.
Yeah, I love that movie, and I heard they're making like an actual. They've made a
I
bunch
liked
of
Cloverfield Street.
10 Cloverfield Lane was good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
They're
I
all
liked
in the
it.
same 3. They're all the same universe. It's 10 Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and the Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah.
Which ties it all together because that's the Cloverfield Paradox is the event that causes the other 2 things to start happening.
Okay.
But I liked 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool as
Yeah,
shit.
I thought that was
John
cool.
Goodman, right?
Yep. But I heard they're
haven't-
making like an
I
official.
love
second
John
Cloverfield.
Goodman as well.
Yeah, he's great in
Like-
everything he does.
He is so underrated, I think.
Walter and
Have you
fucking Big Lebowski.
He's a dudist.
Yeah.
I'm an ordained Dudist minister.
Or that's correct. That's awesome.
I
Man.
can legally marry people. And
That's
I'm meaning to
incredible.
figure out how,
That's going to be our 1,000 subscriber special.
Yeah,
marrying
ordain him at. Yeah.
who am I marrying?
Could be you, lucky subscriber.
Yeah.
I think it was I was joking. I was like, I'll just start randomly marrying people that piss me off. Like, you know what, you and you, I now pronounce you man and wife or man
and man.
Yeah, yeah.
Kiss.
Whether you like it or not,
Have fun.
I've ordained you.
Have fun paying for a divorce.
This is your problem now.
Or, trick them into signing the paperwork.
Get him drunk.
So I don't think we ever touched on my allies or villains.
Yeah, let's allies villains. Let's go for Godzilla.
I know it's kind of like cliche, but Anguirus for me is kind of like...
Okay.
We already
That's-
kind of said
yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I love dinosaurs. I was the dinosaur kid, Jurassic Park, my favorite movie of all time.
Great.
Said it
He was
numerous
the second,
times.
He appeared in the second Godzilla movie, and he was originally people thought he was Godzilla for some fucking reason. In the movie, they're like, "Oh, it's Godzilla," and then the actual Godzilla shows the fuck up, and they start fighting. Like, "Oh, that's Godzilla. Wait, who the fuck is that guy? Oh, it's Anguirus.
The new friend.
Or Anguillus. Or,
Anguillus. Yeah,
We
we'll
forgot
have
to
a-
mention Gamera as well. Wouldn't have been a thing if not for Godzilla.
Yes, but that's a completely separate
Yeah,
production
but-
wheelhouse.
yeah.
A whole new, different episode.
And Godzuki.
Zuki. Yeah.
That's from the Hanna. That's from Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we'll maybe come back to on a second episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier.
But we
It
can go
actually
more
wasn't
in.
bad. Up
Yeah.
from the depths, 30 stories high,
Those are
his
theme
head
song.
in the sky, Godzilla, Godzilla.
I think my favorite villain has to be Zilla.
I think the whole
The
series-
1998 New York Zilla.
Oh,
The
okay.
only- the only
Matthew
good-
Broderick Zilla. Yeah.
Matthew Broderick's cool.
Yeah,
I
Hank is
have no
there.
issues with him.
Gene
Hank is
Reno, or however you pronounce his name.
He's cool.
Oh,
And-
professional. Yeah.
And,
good movie.
Yeah.
Fucking
And
Gary
the soundtrack
Oldman.
is good. The sound,
Everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. The Rage Against the Machine on the soundtrack.
the soundtrack
Yeah,
for the 98 Godzilla actually
Puff
like
Daddy song too.
fucking good.
Yep, that rips. I have it on CD somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it ripped
There was the cover
Sam-
of what was it? Wallflowers, I think.
I don't
Or
even
Hero.
know.
Wallflowers did a cover of Hero, I think.
I
And
don't
then
know.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Puff Daddy ripped sample from Led Zeppelin for the
Zap,
song.
yeah,
Yep.
yep. Got a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I told him before we started this, Rise Against the Machine, Rise of the North Star, which is, I think, a great fucking band. People will maybe not like that. They're French. They don't sound French because they do a lot of Japanese lyrics as well.
Yeah.
Super heavily inspired by Japan. It's Fist of the North Star is like their band logo. Kenshiro from that, more or less. And they make Super Saiyan references. Their cover of Simon Says starts off with the Godzilla. Banana.
That's cool.
Like, it's awesome.
The Godzilla's March.
Ba-da-da-da, dun, dun, ba-da-da-da, bum, bum. And then it just leads into.
Bum,
It-
bum, 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 bum.
You know what? Fuck it. Copyright be damned. Let's put it on. Copyright be
I
damned.
want to hear it. Yeah, I was definitely gonna check it out after, but if we're gonna do it now, let's do it.
Wait, playing your song or our song?
My song.
Okay, whatever. This works too. I think you showed this to me like once or twice, and I've made mention
Yeah,
of
I mean, there's just so much like the theme. There it is. So sick.
Yeah, okay, so it's like a guitar riff version of it. Okay.
Sick.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
And then somewhere there's a roar. That man version.
Get the fuck up! Someone says get the fuck up!
No, they actually cover Simon Says.
Wait, are these the disrespect your surroundings guys?
Wow.
No.
Ah.
This is Rise of the North Star.
Disrespect
That's cool.
your
Shout out.
surroundings.
And they're fucking French.
Not sponsored.
Like,
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really cool music. They do a cover of Here Comes the Boom. No, less good.
Okay.
That's another good one. The what the fuck is going on with the blind? You ever
But-
see the blind wrestler meme? The blind football player meme with that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, this little kid's like not only is he like a great, but he's also blind. He's like, yeah, I just want to. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's the kid running around the football field.
I think it's a great PR song.
Yeah.
Rise
yeah.
Up.
Sorry.
Simon Says that intro and just into get the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
It's awesome.
why wouldn't a band cover Simon Says? It's one of the best songs ever. Yeah.
And going that hard on it,
Yeah, that's very cool.
that's like Smooth Criminal from Alien Ant Farm hard.
Yeah.
Like they had no reason to be as good as it was.
That was an excellent cover. I'm not gonna lie.
What, the Alien Ant Farm?
Yeah, when I
Yeah,
first heard
Criminal?
Smooth Criminal, I'm like, this goes
Who
pretty
would
hard.
have expected?
Yeah, yeah. They do it
The music
justice.
video is pretty good too. with
Yeah.
Go With It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the one fucking strip of
Yeah,
hair
I wonder if he
missing.
still has that haircut.
There's no way he still has
I
that.
mean, he might.
They played a free show at fucking Nassau Community College. I don't know why the fuck we didn't see that. We skipped it for some reason, man.
Was that recently or a long time ago?
That was like a decade ago back when we were still attending. It was free for us because we were attending and shit. And I don't know why the
Yeah.
fuck we didn't, like, oh, we should have. This was before we realized
They
that
probably
was
would have only played the one song.
Yeah, just are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? It's like, all right, you played it 10 times.
They
Play
had
something else.
the one at the cinema too. That wasn't
Movies.
terrible. Yeah, movies.
Yeah.
Movie. Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Shout out to Alien Ant Farm.
But
I don't know if you watched Todd in the Shadows or not, but he did an episode for them.
Oh, yeah? Nah.
Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube, Todd in the Shadows, not sponsored, but one of his shticks
just
is
cool people.
one of his shticks is One Hit Wonderland.
Okay.
Where he covers
That
one
would
hit
be-
wonders, and
yeah.
he did I think just recently he did what the fuck was it? Like he's done like the Barbie song.
Yep, Aqua Barbie.
He's done kung fu fighting and shit. And one of the only ones he hasn't really done yet is
Macarena, he's done.
yeah, he just did
Okay.
Macarena. That was the reason I was just thinking. He just
That wasn't that recent.
it was but every time he does one though, I sit there and I comment, Bloodhound Gang is just crying in the basement waiting for you.
They
Yeah.
had more than a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
Not much, but they
yeah,
had more.
Yeah, nah, they were
No, they
pretty
had
big.
other great songs. It's just, but as the joke, because it's just like Bloodhound Gang screaming from the basement for a little time.
I don't know, man. Godzilla.
Technically,
He's-
you could even throw YCP in there too.
Do they have, what's their one hit?
I would say maybe Homies.
Okay.
That or the
Um,
one with the magnet because it got
Mirror
That
Girls.
means, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have the two songs that are kind of TikTok big now. Chop Chop Slide
Good,
and
good.
The Boogeyman.
Okay, shout out
Those
to
are-
ICP. Yeah, I don't know much about ICP, and I figured I would just know the title.
Oh,
of
eventually
one
we're
of
going to do an
their songs,
ICP episode, and I want to be sitting here with full face
but
paint.
full
I used to
Juggalo
be a
makeup.
Juggalo, man.
Yeah, whoop whoop.
I mean, you never aren't really at heart.
Yeah,
but
you never.
It's just the problem is they don't fucking play shows around here. So I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point now?
I do want to see them live. I heard they put on a hell of
it's
a live show.
They only play now live together in Detroit.
Yeah.
They stopped doing full tours together because Jay's heart can't take full ICP tours.
Yeah, that's.
Even though he's fucking touring with Isham right now.
Okay.
Makes no fucking
Well,
sense.
hold on. Isham is not ICP level of insanity.
Yeah.
No. However,
Like ICP, people get knocked the fuck out by random flying bottles of 2 liter.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
no joke. The first ICP show I went to, it was Gramercy, the smaller one. Yeah, Gramercy was a Gramercy, and then the Hammerstein or whatever. Anyway, it was Gramercy or whatever. And as I'm walking out, because the show had ended, it was just everybody just throwing Fago and how But as we're walking out, because we're like, all right, show's over. I turn around for a split second, and a fucking full 2 liter beams me in the forehead.
Yeah.
I pick it up. I splash a bunch on my head, chug some, realize it's root beer and root beer sucks, dump the rest, and
gross.
just take it and keep going.
Oh, hitting the head with a 2 liter.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
was
I
a
bet
full
that
one,
happens
too.
a lot at
had a nice
ICP
little,
shows. Yeah, a little knot. Yeah.
Oh, some guy
Fago's their whole thing.
Yeah,
Some guy smoked
yeah.
the whole joint to his face, accidentally got faded and passed out against the rail. So you see the bouncer just yank the whole kid straight up from the fucking rail, bring him over to the side, slap him a couple times to
Wake
wake his
your
ass
ass
up,
up,
and
yeah.
he throws him back out into the fucking crowd.
That's funny.
Oh man, I was basically pit guard too because I got up front and the pit got really close to front, so I'd have to turn around every fucking 3 seconds, throw people back into the fucking pit as I'm trying to also watch my turn
Yeah, I
around,
wanna
watch
see
them
them
perform and
live.
shit. Oh, they're a fucking great performance live. But yeah, like I said, you gotta go see them in Detroit now to get them together.
One
Do
day.
they still do the Gathering though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's in Detroit, right?
No, the Gathering. Last I heard was in either Illinois or Idaho or some shit. Because the original farm that they went to,
Legal
technically
reasons.
the second farm they went to, they kicked them out a few years back. And
Legal reasons.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Okay.
On top of that, I mean, you're not getting the original fucking Lotus lineup because Twisted's not going to show up, and Blaze and fucking half the fucking original label disappeared too, and they're either with Twisted now doing their own thing or just kind of off being independent. So you're not getting the original Dark Lotus lineup too at the end of the Gathering. So that's also kind of a bummer. They're really gotten serious about not fucking with the drug bridge, so it's a little bit hard to get your drugs.
Okay.
They had to bring back best Juglet wet T-shirt contest to start getting in a draw again.
Yeah.
I think the chick who'd suck every guy's dick is she stopped showing up.
That'll affect ticket sales.
There used to be a chick who would go to every gathering and attempt to suck every guy's dick there.
That's a hell of a challenge.
I'm not even joking.
Jesus
Yeah, there was the
Christ.
the infamous,
Juggalos, man.
the infamous drug bridge, like I said, where everybody was buying. and
I've heard
selling
about
fucking
that.
Drugs.
I saw like a documentary about her. I learned about that somewhere. Yeah.
Oh,
How did we get here?
stumbled. Sorry.
ICP will do that. Yeah.
We were talking about one-hit wonders, and then I just kind of went on a weird. I kind of went into a fugue state for a second there. But
Godzilla.
yeah, no, Godzilla's fucking great.
Godzilla's the best.
He's definitely got to be everybody's like top 5 kaiju. Like I said, Gamera, not Godzilla, but like Gamera's a big one.
Gamera's fucking
King
great.
Kong's
Yeah.
huge because
That the Jeff Bridges King Kong movies will like always be one of my favorites forever and ever.
was
the
77?
77.
The
It's
first remake, yeah.
I have that on VHS, like that, and then they did King Kong Lives after that,
Yep.
which was
Our grandmother.
really good.
Our grandparents, they had a
wall of VHS
fucking
tapes.
VHS
Yeah.
tapes, yeah, a whole ass wall, and they were all they were all in like brown sleeves too, with just a little title in the name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some were recordings off the TV, some were actual fucking videos and
Yeah.
stuff, and they had like Back
And they
to
had
the
it for us,
Future,
yeah.
King Kong.
That's
so
the
we would
original
watch it.
Sad.
Yeah,
We would watch a lot of Godzilla like that.
Very
Jaws, like all the
Oh,
fucking
man.
classics and shit. They just had a whole fucking wall of them. Like,
Did you guys know about the Frankenstein Godzilla thing?
No.
Okay, so yeah, so
Let's talk about this real fast.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So originally, King Kong. I mean, Frankenstein got really, really big in Japan as a kaiju, and the crux of it usually is
But not like Frankenstein, because they couldn't use that for legal reasons.
I bet. Yeah.
So they had to do like this weird.
no, that was
Frankenstein.
America. When it came over to America, they'd have to change it for legal reasons. In Japan, they just didn't give a shit. Like, dude, like Japan will have like weird, like they did Frankenstein for a while. They had a Hercules thing for a while. I think that
King Kong, they has that.
Tarzan craze for a little while too, where there was a lot of like weird Tarzan like like Japan will go through weird phases where they'll just kind of like adopt a Western cultural figure, just kind of be all about it and make a bunch of really weird fucking movies. And just kind of be about something else all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That was really
Well, it started
big
off
during
with King Kong versus Godzilla, King Kong versus Frankenstein.
Sorry, okay. So yeah, so originally Godzilla was supposed to fight Frankenstein and in Godzilla versus King Kong, but because of the weird legal loopholes and stuff, they had to switch over to King Kong, and that's why King Kong gets weirdly powered up by electricity because it was supposed to be Frankenstein who was supposed to get powered up.
Okay.
And funny and interesting enough, the electricity thing actually was not original to Frankenstein too. He never in the novel. That was a thing that came about from the movies, from the Universal films. The whole lightning striking and bringing him back to life. That was in the novel. It never really states outright what he did to bring the monster back to life. It only really states that he just sewed up an ass whack of corpses into a giant fucking into a giant person that ends up being fucking ugly. I don't know how. He's like, oh, I made this giant corpse doll, and I thought it was going to look good when I brought it back to life, but no, it still looks like a fucking corpse doll technically. So, it's a monster. But
Yeah. That was. I didn't know that Kong getting his lightning powers was supposed to be Frankenstein getting his lightning powers.
yeah, and you want to know what's even weirder? You know how Frankenstein works is becoming a kaiju in the films.
Here it is. It's what I'm thinking of. Frankenstein versus Baragon, I believe, where he like goes across the universe or something like that, and he gets like a little Frankenstein heart. The only thing that's left over, and it gets
It's
irradiated.
they
and
find
that's-
Frankenstein's heart,
Yep.
and it gets irradiated.
And then we have Kaiju
and
Frankenstein.
And they put it into a small child as a heart transplant.
Yep.
And the small child turns into a giant, like flat top Frankenstein
Yeah.
monster, complete with fucking bolts in his neck.
Okay.
And he monstered him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the flat top and bolts thing again. That wasn't original.
And that was Toho, right?
That was Toho and a few other films. Because again, it's a weird thing where a bunch of people will make these types of films.
Yeah.
Toho just so happens to be kind of like a massive production house that owns other production houses. It also it's weird. Like you'll see the Toho logo over like fucking.
I think they started off as like a railroad company too.
Yeah, we'll do a whole episode about Toho because Toho's got their fingers in a lot of shit. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen them in front of like fucking Dragon Ball stuff. I've seen them in front of like
Everything.
yeah.
You think of it from Japan.
In
Chances
terms
are
of
they might
media,
have.
It's in terms of like medium. Toho's massive.
They're almost Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
almost the Japanese.
That's why I want to go
equivalent
to
Disney.
Japan
Yeah.
so bad.
I mean, have you
so
seen
bad.
Japanese Disneyland too?
I've seen people there, and I'm
Or
very
Japanese
jealous.
Universal?
'Cause, yeah, with the
Especially
all
when
the
they do like
Mario
the Godzilla
stuff.
or the. They did a Godzilla one. They did an Attack on Titan one.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. They done Monster Hunter where they just have like the giant.
That's
fucking-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we not talk about Monster Hunter? I
We
love
gotta do a
Monster
monster. Dude, Japan.
I
is
just mean
fucking
like in
crazy
terms
about
of
Monster
kaiju.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Like they just have like Monster Hunter pop up shits.
Are you
all the
familiar with
time.
Monster Hunter?
No, what is Monster Hunter?
Okay, so it's a.
It started off as a PlayStation game
Oh,
where
PlayStation
it's sure PlayStation
And-
2 game, and you play as a hunter, and it's 3D world. You get to sneak around.
It's a JRPG.
Yep.
But you don't level up.
Okay.
You get better
Only
gear.
your gear levels up, and it levels up to the monsters you're fighting.
Okay.
So
You have to
fight
keep-
a giant fire-breathing dragon. You can make a fire-breathing dragon armor,
Yeah.
and you can make it stronger. However, if you go up against a water monster, that armor's not going to be as good against the water monster. So you have to kill the water monster to get a water monster armor and water monster weapons. So you get or electricity because electricity beats the water because the water beats the fire.
it's a
Like
whole
rock,
big rock
paper, scissors.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has
Also, you can have
it
a cat as your best friend who has weapons.
He
and
feeds
armor
you.
too.
That's cool.
And there are cats that feed you too. The chef
That's
cat.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made a
perfect.
movie with Mila. You might have seen like the Mila Jovovich movie that came out a few years back.
What's it called?
Monster Hunter.
Oh no, I did not see
Had her on
it.
the front
So,
cover. It's
okay.
not free, but
It-
that's how
It's
it sucks.
probably like Resident Evil 4 or 5
Yeah.
level of just kind of like meh
Okay.
in terms of
Okay.
movies. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's the
yeah.
same. It's the same company that does the Resident Evil movies,
Yeah.
but like a few in.
One of the biggest draws for Monster Hunter though was you could fight like each quest you could do, especially with like world and stuff. You could have like up to 4 people like join you.
Cool.
And back then they also had it online too, so you could be playing with people who weren't there and stuff. That's one of the big things. But yeah, here
They have a couple iconic monsters. Wraithy and Rathalos are probably the 2 biggest.
Okay.
And they're just big old Wyvern type dragon things.
That's cool.
Which again, I don't think we would have had without Godzilla.
Yeah, that's a whole new
Which-
world that like I didn't even know about.
King Kong. We wouldn't have had that without King Kong. We wouldn't
Yeah.
have had that without
that's my favorite
fucking shit. I lost it. What's the one with the dinosaurs from back? Journey to the Center of the Earth? No. Obviously not. Shit, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but this is like you fight giant dragons like that and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
And you have giant like fuck off swords. You could use dual blades. You could have a sword that turns into a giant axe, or a giant axe that turns into a giant sword.
Yeah.
You could use like these crossbow guns that you can fire like machine guns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Sorry.
That sounds like a cool ass game.
Yeah.
If you got like PlayStation, you could get.
It's
into-
mostly PlayStation, Nintendo now.
Yeah.
yeah, if you got like PlayStation, you could get into World pretty easy now. World's really good. It's probably the
I
most.
play a lot of Doom games. When a new Doom game comes out, that's pretty much when
It's
I start
not
playing
first
something.
person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Doom is great though. I love Doom.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to play a video game in so long. It's been so long.
You ever seen the? Remember the original Doom movie with The Rock?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Not as good as the game. Not
One of the,
nearly as
like
good
one
as
of
the
the
No.
3 villain roles The Rock has ever played,
game. Yeah.
off the top of my head.
That's because he just refuses to play a villain.
No, yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't.
now he's the
This was
goodest guy
originally
in the
before he was
world.
first getting into acting, really too, because he was the villain in that. He was the villain in Scorpion King, and even then he was only in it for a few moments.
Well, hold on. He was the villain.
Mummy 2.
He was the villain. He was the villain Scorpion King in the Mummy 2,
2.
and then he turns into a hero when they do the offshoot movie Scorpion King.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
they also have 5 sequels
Terrible
where he isn't in.
CGI. Ugh.
Yeah, they've done 5 Scorpion King sequels, and he's not in any of them.
I bet. Yeah,
Fun
he's on to
fact.
bigger and better things.
It's other wrestlers trying to get into the movie acting business. Which, by the way, the wrestler to movie acting pipeline is fucking bizarre because he gets some weird
WWE
movies.
has a huge production house.
Yes, they
Surprisingly.
do.
Oh yeah, like you know,
The Undertaker has been in a lot of things. The Big Show's been in a lot of things. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
all their
I
stuff.
think they
They're big
technically
on
did
horror
Surf's Up.
movies.
Yeah, they
think
did
that-
with
yeah.
Kane. Kane's in one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they did Surf's Up technically, or at least it's the same production house behind Surf's Up and that.
It's
Yeah.
also Surf's. No, I'm thinking of Happy Feet is the. Because the guy who directed Happy Feet is the same guy who did, I think, the Alien movies or some shit.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, it's weird because the guy
Which
who did
Alien
Happy Feet,
movies? Because there was Alien, different director than Aliens. And then there was Aliens
Uh,
2, 3, 4.
It's weird, but
AVP.
it's like he's like a horror. He's like known for his horror movies, but he also just in them specifically did fucking Happy Feet or some shit. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of who the fuck it was. Oh my lord, give me 1 second.
Check Google.
Googlebot knows.
Our fucking fact checker.
That's what it is. Do your own production.
No, that's
Well,
a
we had a
reference to something
fact.
else.
We had a fact checker,
Oh,
We
what?
had a
Oh,
small
he just-
rotating, yeah, kind of.
rotating little people.
Oh, that's cool. That always helps.
Yeah.
Extra set of hands.
All right, we'll get this fact, and then I think we've sufficiently stumbled around Godzilla.
Hell yeah! I mean,
It's by George Miller,
it's those three.
the guy
George
who did
Miller.
fucking
Okay.
yeah, the guy who did. I'm sorry, it wasn't a horror movie. He's the guy who does the fucking Mad Max films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
guy who does the Mad Max films inexplicably made fucking Happy Feet too. I'm sorry. That was
good.
what I was thinking. Okay, that's the
Showing diversity. Here's
you-
what I could do.
I know you said that you wanted to talk about and make sure that we touch on 3 points before we started. Did we touch on them?
Of the 3 Godzilla movies.
No, I don't know.
You said something about making sure that we touched on 3 different points. 3 points? Something like that?
Nah, just the 3 Godzilla movies. I think that was it,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
I don't know, something about writing on a piece of paper movie.
Oh no, nah.
Whatever.
If you want to shout anything out, man,
Yeah,
By all means.
I'm on Liquid Metal Monday to Friday, 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We have our weekly trivia show, Into the Trivia Pit, on live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Come celebrate 420 with us. We have 420 every single Wednesday on the air, which is great. In Madness Pod, new episode drops every Monday. We're on all the socials. At Shawn the Butcher. We're at In Madness Pod. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. We're also on YouTube, In Madness Pod. If you search In Madness or In Madness Pod, we talk about horror movies. We're branching out more. So it's not so focused on horror movies. We're about to drop a brand new episode. I don't know when this is going to drop, but
Guys cover vampires.
we do Wednesdays.
yeah, we did 30 Days a Night was one of our early episodes, which is vampire related, which is
bitchin'.
good. Yeah, but yeah, it's a lot of horror movies, and we lean to like sci-fi and like all different kinds of stuff. And we have a couple guests recently. We've been trying to get more guests on, but I mean, the setup that you guys have here is way more pro than what we have going on. But
We're slapped together in front of a shop. So.
yeah, this is great. This is you got cool mics and headphones. We need all this for our pod. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
I got I'm on Liquid Metal. I'm on
give you a
In
guy.
Madness, and yeah, it's awesome hanging out. Thank you guys for having me on. I love talking Godzilla. I'll always talk Godzilla and MF Doom for anybody, anytime.
I mean, hell yeah.
Much
come on.
appreciated, man.
Hell yeah. And watch Godzilla 1956 and 1985 and Shin Godzilla and this new Godzilla -1. Raymond Burr is the man. He makes the movies he's in 10 times better from being in them.
Not sponsored by -1.
Not
It's
sponsored.
coming out to theaters or some shit.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, this will not be out before. Godzilla -1 will not be out before we air this.
Okay.
So hopefully it's good.
I'm saying even if it bombs, I'm saying right here, I'm going to love it no matter what.
I'm just curious because technically this is supposed to take place before the original movie.
Yeah.
This this takes place just after World War II ended, whereas the other one's like almost a decade out or
I
something.
like when it's a retelling always. I don't mind
Yeah.
that. I think it's cool.
All right. Well, I mean, Godzilla's done that like 3-ish,
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I'm
You got,
down.
you got anything to close us out?
Now.
Rub a dub dub. Thanks for the grub. Good night, people.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Shout out to whoever the fuck.
Good night, people.
Yeah, good night.
250 subscribers, shirts,
Oh,
1,000. He's gonna marry people.
No, and 500. We got the Pornhub Playboy thing.
The what? What
Okay,
is it?
real quick. All right, fine.
Yeah, explain, please, real quick.
So the bit is if I could get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year,
Yeah.
I will set up a Pornhub channel where I have old celebrity Playboys.
Okay.
I have Vanna White. I have Janet Jackson.
Cool.
I have
One of the Kennedys, I think.
Okay.
yeah, like one of the Kennedys, I think it was. Like
He's
I
got
have
a bunch.
I
Yeah.
have some pictures of it somewhere. But,
Okay.
And he's just gonna do a full in-depth review of each of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
bad. Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
then,
500 subscribers. Hit.
Oh, and I have,
right now. Hit subscribe.
I think those like if I get to 250 though, I'll do I have somebody's Christy Teigen or some shit like her holiday spread or whatever.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, if we could do the 250 before Christmas, I'll make it and do a Christmas episode where I do the holiday episode, holiday Playboy one.
Smash that like button, subscribe, and make sure you stay tuned in for
I
everything.
think I
that's
have
going-
a 1991 or 1990 Donald Trump interview Playboy where it's just him and some model on the front cover.
Yeah, yeah.
Good night, people.
I'll do all of them eventually if we get the subscribers.
250. Get to it now.
No, 500. But
500. Get to it now.
Both, either or.
Good night.
They're both good.